Hey everybody, welcome back to Deserts of Plenty. So the Snellen chart is an interesting little thing. You may not, the hell's the Snellen chart? Well, you may not know the name, but you know it. It's that chart in your eye doctor's office with the big E at the top. And the letters get progressively smaller on each line until you hit a point where you're supposed to stand like 20 feet away from it and then read it. And you go down as far as you can till you are no longer able to read it. And that tells you what your vision is. And if you're 20 feet away and you can read the line that's 20/20, then at 20 feet, you can read what a quote unquote, well, I guess it's not normal or average. It's like what's considered, you know, 20/20 vision, like the vision where you will not need any kind of corrective eyewear, where your eyes are, I guess, as good as can be. Although not really, because some people can read, some people had better than 20/20 vision. When I had my eye surgery, I had the LASIK done. And when my eyes were tested, I had better than 20/20 vision. I don't know if it still is. And it wasn't much better. It wasn't anything to brag about, but it's slightly better. But anyway, the interesting thing about this chart is, yeah, gives you a rough idea of like how good your eyesight is, and it's an indication of whether you might need corrective eyewear. Um, but the interesting thing is, if you take take people and you take the chart and you flip it upside down, and then ask people to go not and start at the top still. So they're now starting where the font is the smallest, and then say, when can you read? Uh, Now people's eyesight does not improve; it doesn't get better, but some people feel that they can read smaller lines, right? And it may be because the stress is reduced, and it's anecdotal; it's not supported by clinical research, but people feel they see better. Uh, and part of that is because they're now anticipating, they're not anticipating failure, they're anticipating eventual success. And so they have a better attitude, they're less stressed about it, and they report sometimes feeling like they can read smaller things. So this changes your mindset. Instead of going from, I can do this and at some point I'm going to fail, I can't do this and at some point I'm going to succeed. So reduce stressed. I said the word stressed. I meant reduced stress. And this reduced stress can provide a temporary sense of improved clarity or confidence. So again, they're not really seeing better, but the perception and the mindset is more positive. And our it's about how our expectations influence how hard something feels. In Steve Magnus's book, Do Hard Things, um, he talks about when runners are tired. So people who run when they're tired and then they look at a hill. Well, if they're tired, that hill will look steeper. They'll judge it as being, oh, that grade is like 15% or 20%. Whereas if they're not as tired, they won't think the hill is as steep. They don't report it as being so bad. So this is just about thinking of, okay, I've got a task coming up, and you may put a lot of like, oh, this is going to be tough, it's going to be bad. And then it may just make it seem harder, or it may even be harder because of how you are perceiving it. So it's one of these things like when my daughter says, oh, Dad, I have to go to school. I'm like, change that word have to get. You get to go to school. And just changing the word from I have to go to school to I get to go to school makes you start thinking about it differently and not having such a bad time about it. So that's it. Just think about changing your viewpoint about something. And instead of saying, oh man, I have to do this, I get to do it. It's better than the alternative. Some alternatives a lot of times. Anyway, that's my time today. Quick one today. Have a great day. Ciao.